Okay, I want to cover this again. Essentially, the Warren Commission conclusion that there was only one shooter depends upon there having been only 3 shots fired. One of the shots hit Tag or caused his injury, and therefore only 2 shots are available in their view to hit the President and Governor Connally. So, in order for 2 shots, for there to only have been 2 shots, then the first shot had to hit JFK through the throat and to have caused all of Governor Connally's injuries. Therefore, they had to have been hit by that same first shot. But Dan Rather here says they were hit by separate shots after having just watched the Zapruder film.
Just as the president put that right hand up to the side of his head, you could see him lurch forward. The first shot had hit him. Mrs. Kennedy was looking in another direction and apparently didn't see or sense that first shot or didn't hear it. But Governor Connally in the seat in front appeared to have heard it, or at least sensed that something was wrong. The governor's coat was open. He reached back in this fashion, exposing his white shirt front to the assassin's window. He reached back as if to offer aid or ask the president something.
Now, the first point I want to make here is about the film Dan Rather saw. He said Governor Connally reached back and his jacket was open, and you could see his shirt.
The governor's coat was open. He reached back in this fashion, exposing his white shirt front.
And this is the moment that Dan Rather is talking about. Kennedy's been shot, and Connally just turned around, and we can't see that he's reaching back and that his coat is open and that his white shirt is exposed. Dan Rather could see that in the film he saw. So obviously the film we see is not the same film Dan Rather saw. It has been edited, or it's a completely different film. And one might argue he surmised that his jacket was open and his shirt was exposed, but you can't even surmise, looking at this, that Connally was reaching back, and Dan Rather said he reached back, and he said the shirt was white. I mean, of course, it's back then everyone wore white dress shirts, but still, the specificity that Dan Rather puts on this reveals that he saw a different film than we have today.
The governor's coat was open. He reached back in this fashion, exposing his white shirt front. At that moment, a shot clearly hit the governor in the front.
So at this moment, a shot clearly hit the governor in the front. Obviously, Dan Rather is saying it's not the same shot that went through JFK's throat, and he could see it hit the governor in the front. And you can't see that in the Zapruder film because the frame has been raised to hide that. Now, I have crudely drawn in here what Dan Rather must have seen, which is now below the frame in the Zapruder film. And I only have the Microsoft Paint program to work with. But I think it shows the point, doesn't it? Dan Rather saw that, but we can't see it now.
At that moment, a shot clearly hit the governor in the front, and he fell back in the seat.
And Gayle Newman, of course, was a witness to this, and there she is under the pink arrow there with the presidential limo approaching, and she was interviewed on television 15-20 minutes after she witnessed the shooting, and she agrees with Dan Rather, or she agreed back then anyway, with Dan Rather, that John Connally was hit by the second shot.
We were standing next to the curb so the children could see the president, and the car was just up a piece from us, and this shot fired out, and I thought it was a firecracker. And the president kind of raised up in his seat, and I thought, he was kind of going along with a gag or something. And then all of a sudden this next one popped, and Governor Connally grabbed his stomach and kind of laid over to the side.
So they both agree that Connolly was shot by the second shot. Dan Rather, I believe, has remained silent on this since November 25th, 1963. Gayle Newman is still talking about it, but now she doesn't remember. And in this recent interview, I think it's 2016 at the Sixth Floor Museum, Father Fagan asks her about this.
Gayle, though, I want to mention something from yours. You say, after I heard the first shot, another shot sounded, and Governor Connolly kind of grabbed his chest and lay back on the seat of the car. I know we're talking 53 years later, but as you recall, did you see Governor Connolly react prior to a second shot being fired?
I don't ever remember saying that.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's in your statement, but it certainly sounds like, from the way it was worded, and again, 22 years old after this traumatic event, but you do say in your statement here that I heard the first shot, another shot sounded, and Governor Connolly kind of grabbed his chest, and that just struck me as I was going through there, that was something we might want to talk about.
Well, I noticed that the other day. I was reviewing my statement at the sheriff's office, and I noticed that, and I thought, I don't remember that.
She doesn't remember that, and Dan apparently doesn't want to talk about it. Now, Father Fagan there is no truther, so I'm surprised he even brought this up in the interview. But he doesn't mention the significance in this interview. So what he's doing here is he's having it both ways. He's bringing up this opportunity for Gayle Newman to deny that she said that, or to deny remembering that she said that, without alerting people to the significance of this. And the audience that these cover-up artists play to, they don't generally, most of them, the ones that they're going to be effective with, don't know all the details anyway, so this just washes over them. And that's why he didn't bring up why that is significant, because if he did, then people who didn't realize before would suddenly become aware that, hey, there's a problem here. The problem being that Connolly was shot by a separate bullet, and that means there had to be at least two shooters. And this must be why the Newmans, who were standing right there when it all happened, were never interviewed by the Warren Commission. Because on the record, on television, and in her sheriff department statement, she said unambiguously that Governor Connolly was hit by a second shot. And that means more than one shooter, and they can't have that. So now, very conveniently, Gayle doesn't even remember having said that, or seen that apparently. She just doesn't remember that, whatever she means when she says that. And I think she's cooperating with the cover-up, along with her husband. And I think that's what that means.
And then all of a sudden this next one popped, and Governor Connolly grabbed his stomach and kind of laid over to the side.
I don't remember that.